ladies, good morning. Meet my new friend Pete, one of the most rare dinosaurs ever discovered. We're hanging out with him coming up next.
Years ago, dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Yep, and this morning, Lauren McDonald is live and local in Woodland Park, taking us on an exploration back in time. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning, ladies. Yeah, prehistoric time this morning, taking you back to the dinosaur age here with Jacob Jett at Rocky Mountain Dinosaur Resource Center. So excited to be here this morning, and we are standing by my new friend Pete. He rests in peace, thankfully, because he looks pretty scary. Now, Jacob, you were telling me he's actually like the great-great-great-great-great-grandfather of T-Rex.
Right. Pete is a Daspletosaurus, which is a member of the Tyrannosaur family. So he's very closely related. He was in the same area that T-Rex ran around in, kind of did a lot of the same things, just existed about 10 million years before the first T-Rex ever showed up.
And you actually helped dig this guy up.
I did. I was like 18, 19 years old. We were working on this back. It was first found in 2005 by a rancher in Montana, and we dug it up in the 2006 season, and we've been working on it ever since. We finished it up about a year ago, so it took us a long time to work on.
Right, and what is it that takes that long?
Well, in the case of this animal, the bones were not preserved very well. They were in kind of a really soft sand that didn't support them. There were a lot of roots in the ground that were kind of crushing them and really giving us a lot of problems. So we had to take it, like all of our work is rather painstaking to begin with, but we had to go even slower to make sure we didn't mess anything up on this one.
Got to preserve those bones. Most dinosaurs found in North America, China, where else?
Well, dinosaurs have been found on every continent, including Antarctica. We just right here in the western United States have a great locality for it. Mongolia and China is another great place where lots of stuff comes from, but we just have one of those really fossil-rich areas right here, up into Canada, all through North America.
Right, and you said actually Colorado Springs is a great place to go searching for dinosaurs.
You could search for a lot of fossils down there. In some spots you might find some dinosaurs. You know, always make sure you have permission. But
exactly.
But yeah, people are always bringing us fossils to identify from down around this whole area.
Very, very cool. Well, Pete, it has been great hanging out with you. Jacob, we're going to be with you all morning long. Guys, we're going to be here at the Rocky Mountain Dinosaur Resource Center all morning long, checking out lots of other dinosaurs. And like I said, thankfully they are resting in peace, because I definitely would not be here if they weren't.
That is such a cool place where she's at today, so we can't wait to see more. Lauren, thanks. It is now 5:50. Discovering the world of dinosaurs.
That's right, Lauren McDonald live and local in Woodland Park with what's coming up.
Hey guys, good morning. Coming up after the break, we are digging up some bones, showing you the process of paleontology. That's next.
Era of the dinosaurs. It's a world none of us know from experience, of course, but we are constantly learning more.
That's right, and this morning, Lauren McDonald is putting on her paleontologist cap in Woodland Park, discovering the Dinosaur Resource Center. Hey, Lauren.
Hey guys, good morning. Yes, I'm doing my best to put my paleontologist cap on, hanging out with a paleontologist this morning. That sounds pretty cool, right? How many people could say that they have hung out with a paleontologist here with Jacob Jett? Now, you study dinosaurs for a living.
I do.
And you go out and you search for fossils and dinosaur skeletons. So describe the process, because we're here at this dig box and we're kind of replicating what you guys would do.
Well, what we do is we've got to find the skeleton in the first place. So we go out into the right-aged rocks with badlands exposures, and we walk until we find something coming out of the ground. Most of our time is actually spent walking until we hit that. But once we know where to dig, we dig back in, and we do kind of what you're doing right here. We've got this dig box here for the kids to come play with, to get an idea of what we do. We expose as little of the bone in the field as possible, because in the lab we have better conditions where we can control what we're doing a little better. But as we uncover fossils, we have to tell what it is and where it ends. So we've got to know a lot of anatomy to sit there and figure out what we're working on as we work.
A lot of anatomy, and so a lot of rock actually comes back with you here.
It does. You know, the rock's been supporting the bones for millions of years already. It's been doing a good enough job of it. So usually what we'll do is we'll take plaster and burlap and we'll encase the rock with the bone, and we'll take that out of the field and drag that back to the lab. And in the lab, we've got controlled conditions where we can clean it up there.
Right. The meat eaters, the carnivores, hollow bones, most of them, right?
Hollow bones. Hollow bones are one of the things that connect the theropods, the meat eaters, to birds. And so that's birds also have hollow bones to keep their bones light for flight.
Right. So evolution there.
It is. That's a clear case of it.
Very
good
cool.
example of it.
So much exciting things to learn and discover here at the Rocky Mountain Dinosaur Resource Center. Guys, you got to come out and check it out if you haven't already yourself, and bring your friends and family, right? Because
Sure.
so much to do and see out here. We're going to be here all morning long, heading to the ocean next, so you can look forward to that.
Awesome. Looks like a lot of fun. Thank you, Lauren.
Lauren, thank you. It is time now is 7:20. Welcome back to Fox 21 Morning News. Real fossils, dinosaur skeletons, and life-size dino reconstructions. You can experience all of it at the Dinosaur Resource Center in Woodland Park.
Yeah, and that's where we find Lauren McDonald this morning, enthralled, excited, and entertained by all the dinosaur discoveries. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning, Macy and Kim. Yeah, you know what? You guys have to come out here and check it out. So interesting, and we are standing in a room where you would not typically expect to see at a typical dinosaur museum. We're talking about oceanic fossils found in Kansas.
That's right. There was an ocean called the Western Interior Seaway that actually came from the Gulf of Mexico up into the Arctic Circle, kind of cut North America in half back at the late Cretaceous. So while there were dinosaurs on land, there were big, scary fish like this one. This is a 19-foot long fish from Kansas called a Zephactinus.
Right, most complete and largest in all of the world.
That's correct. Out of this genus and species, this is the biggest representation we have of it.
Right, and you guys have that's pretty rare to find this put together in this, looking this good. But you said this is a very, very popular species.
Yeah, we find a lot of Zephactinus. It's a pretty common animal, but usually ones that are this big and this nice are a little bit harder to come by.
Right, and then coming over here, guys, I want to show you, this is like what it was supposed to look like back in those days.
This is a life reconstruction. A sculptor took the original bones and kind of tried to flesh it out to give us an idea of what it looked like when it was alive.
Would not want to get in his way. He looks pretty angry. Now, these are all prehistoric turtles, fish, lizards.
Right. Just like you have like sea turtles in modern times, we had them back then, but there were a lot of other creatures too, like the mosasaurs, which are giant lizards closely related to modern-day monitor lizards.
The murder-killing lizards,
yeah,
right?
The great big murder lizards. They are lizards, but they had flippers. They lived entirely in the ocean, and some of them got pretty big. This is Tylosaurus right here, Tylosaurus prorigor, and it's a 45-foot long lizard that lived in the ocean and ate pretty much whatever it wanted to.
So this was like the big daddy of everybody in the ocean, even the sharks.
Yeah. Sharks could really only feed on these guys after they'd already died.
Yes,
there
I
were
see.
smaller mosasaurs, but this is the big monster that we love to show off.
Right, and we're getting a little bit more modern, but there were very big sharks.
Yes.
At one time.
I mean, even at that time, there were sharks that are big by today's standards. But within the last few million years, there was the big famous shark Megalodon, which we've got some examples of here at the museum. And that was a shark that was closely related to the great white. And it hit about 50 feet long and preyed on whales.
Much bigger than the great white, though.
A huge shark.
Do not want to get in a fight with that animal either.
I'm not that good of a swimmer.
Exactly, and I was a lifeguard. I don't think I could swim that fast. Guys, coming up in our next segment, we are heading back into the lab. Very cool. I feel special and privileged because not everybody gets to go back there, right?
Not everybody.
Well, we are special here at Fox 21 this morning. Can't wait to take you guys back there here at the Rocky Mountain Dinosaur Discovery Center. Back to you.
Very cool. Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks so much. If you haven't been up there, I haven't been up there in a while, but there's constantly new stuff coming in. So if you haven't been for a while, you should definitely check it out.
Hey guys, we are hanging out at the Rocky Mountain Dinosaur Resource Center with bones so big they'll send chills down your spine. That's coming up next.
Time now is 7:40. Welcome back. 65 million years ago, dinosaurs roamed the earth.
That's right, and this morning, Lauren McDonald is live and local in Woodland Park, taking us on an exploration back in time. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning. Dem bones, dem bones. We are hanging here in the lab, one of the most advanced labs that you guys construct these big sculptures and really skeletons of dinosaurs and actually sea life too. Here with Jacob, and you put all these things together.
We do. Probably our most common question that we get are these real? Are these casts, or are they original material? And the answer is they're cast from the original bones when we put a full skeleton together. Sometimes we'll mount the original bones, but usually we don't, because with original bones you have to make a steel cradle for each bone. And by the time you get it all together, you see as much steel as you see bones. So we use silicone molding techniques to where we can get down to almost the microscopic level of detail reproduction. And then we'll put the steel work inside the actual cast bones when we make them out of our plastic plastic resins, and then we can put those together. It also allows us to share our finds and our skeletons and discoveries with other museums and universities. So it helps out in a lot of ways.
Exactly, and you don't want to damage the original bones, because putting a steel rod in there, that would completely damage them.
Yeah, that would. When we mount original bones these days, we don't actually. Back a long time ago, they used to drill through the bones to put the steel inside them. But these days, we would custom form a steel cradle for each individual bone.
Right.
We'll do it, but usually we like to keep the original bones down where you can access them and study them up close.
Right. Now,
easier.
Bigfoot around here in Colorado, this is a Bigfoot. Not his, though.
This is a Bigfoot, but this isn't quite Sasquatch. This is from an animal called Megalonyx. It's a giant ground sloth, a really big sloth that ran around on the ground till about, I don't know, 12,000 years ago or so. The fun thing about this animal is it was first described by Thomas Jefferson. A lot of people don't realize that he was also, in his spare time, in addition to being, you know, a statesman and everything, he was also an amateur paleontologist. So its species and genus name is Megalonyx jeffersoni, after him.
Very cool. Now, T-Rex out there, we saw him and his grandfather earlier. How long does it take to prepare those bones and put it up into the skeleton?
Usually with a dinosaur, a great big dinosaur like that, you can count on about 20,000 man-hours from the time you find it to the time you get that skeleton put together. So it takes a lot of years usually to get it from the moment you see it in the ground to when you see it all done.
Right, and you guys actually, you know, paint these casts. What are the casts made out of?
They're made out of a urethane plastic resin, so it's just a two-part plastic that we mix together. It hardens up in the mold within a few minutes, and then we have a part that we can work with.
Very cool. Yeah, discovering the ancient days. So cool, guys. I cannot believe we're back in the lab. We're actually going to see some real dinosaur bones, not the cast, coming up in a little bit, and Jacob's going to show us more of how he discovers these interesting, amazing animals. Back to you.
I love it. Thank you so much, Lauren.
Real deal. All right, thank you. It is now 8:17. Well, the era of the dinosaurs, it's a world none of us know from experience, of course, but we are constantly learning more.
That's right. And this morning, Lauren McDonald is putting on her paleontologist cap in Woodland Park, discovering the Dinosaur Resource Center. Hey, Lauren.
Hey guys, good morning. Yeah, you know what? We have remains, but so much about these animals and creatures remain unknown. But that's where this gentleman comes in, Jacob Jett, paleontologist here at Rocky Mountain Dinosaur Resource Center, showing us a behind-the-scenes look this morning of your lab. And what we do know is that birds are ancestors of the dinosaurs.
Well, actually, dinosaurs are the ancestors of birds. The theropod meat-eating dinosaurs have a common ancestor with birds. Birds probably even evolved from some of the early theropods, and we know that because they all have wishbones and hollow bones, things like that.
Right.
So that's the kind of study that's really kind of at the forefront of everything right now.
So chickens actually modern day relatives of T-Rex,
exactly.
which is very interesting to me. I found that very interesting. So these two animals right here, very unique and rare.
Right. Speaking of birds, this one is an animal called Ichthyornis. We just found this last fall, and it's pretty much a seagull with teeth from the late Cretaceous. So we found this out in Kansas, where we find a lot of our marine fossils, and this one is the most complete, best preserved one that's ever been found. It's got a really nice skull, lots of tiny little bones that we're just getting into the really heavy study on right now.
Right, and this guy over here.
Behind it is a very rare fish called Protosphaerina. It looks a lot like a swordfish. It's not exactly really closely related, but it looks similar. And this is the only skeleton of one that's ever been found. So this is both of these are very one of a kind specimens.
Very cool. Now back to the birds. Dinosaurs, actually, you were telling me, in Mongolia, they've discovered feathers on dinosaurs.
Right. There have been several dinosaur skeletons that have been found with feather impressions, and we're getting into more and more finding the link between the two all the time.
Right. Now, you see pictures of dinosaurs and they're different colors. And you said sometimes you can actually tell, there's a way to tell of what color they were, but a lot of it is speculation. Because I was wondering, like, how do you know that they were green? You didn't see them, you weren't there.
Right. Skin doesn't really preserve too often, and when it does, it doesn't preserve well. So most coloration is speculation, and we just do our best to guess. But in some cases, in very few cases, there have actually been special cells called melanocytes that have been preserved. And so we can go in under really microscopic conditions and look at the pigment molecules that were actually preserved, and from those molecules figure out what color that animal was in very rare cases.
It's an amazing thing, science. Guys, and speaking of amazing things, we're going to go upstairs and take a look at more scientific stuff, including a 3D printer, which is really just changing the game for you guys here at the Rocky Mountain Dinosaur Resource Center. So a lot of fun this morning. Back to you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Lauren.
You have an interesting job for sure. Well, this morning we are discovering the world of dinosaurs.
That's right, Lauren McDonald live and local in Woodland Park. Good morning.
That's right, guys. Good morning. Coming up after the break, we're going to show you how 3D printing is changing the game in paleontology. That's next.
Welcome back. Time now is 8:42. Real fossils, dinosaur skeletons, and life-size dino reconstructions. You can experience all of that at the Dinosaur Resource Center in Woodland Park.
Yep, and that's where we find Lauren McDonald this morning, enthralled, excited, and entertained by all of the dinosaur discoveries. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning, guys. You are not going to believe what I'm about to show you. Actually, you're probably going to believe it because we've all heard about 3D printing before, but really it is a paleontologist's dream here with Jacob Jett, really just reproducing what you guys don't have, filling in the gaps when it comes to, you find skeletons, but a lot of times there's missing parts.
Right. We almost never find a complete skeleton, so we need to fill in the gaps with something. In the case of what you're looking at right now, this is a skull from an animal called Thescelosaurus that we're making a skeleton for right now. One of the skeletons we had a skull, the other one didn't. So we 3D scanned the skull that we had, we resized it in the computer to match the size for the one that we needed, and now we're printing it out with our great big 3D printer.
Voila. Easy as that.
It's simple. You press a button and you play with the computers a little bit.
Now, in this room, you guys actually have a real bone, and explain the scanning process, how that works.
Right. So this bone that you're looking at is the humerus off of a big mosasaurus, so one of those Cretaceous sea lizards that you were looking at. It's the upper arm bone.
And this is the original.
This is the original bone right here. So we've got it on this turntable, and we're firing lasers at it. We live in the future. We can use lasers for anything these days, and it's actually recording the data of the surface of this and sending it into the computer. And in the computer, we can manipulate it. We can do whatever we want to it in there. And then from there, we send all that data to the printer, and the printer actually makes the copy for us.
Right. And then you notice over here on, what is this called again, this dinosaur?
This is a Thescelosaurus.
A Thescelosaurus.
Correct.
All these names. I don't know how you keep them straight. All right, the support structure, you just kind of knock those off?
Yeah, that's as soon as the print's done, we pick that up, and that'll just break off real easy, and we'll have a copy of the skull right there, ready to go.
Very cool. And then you just paint it?
For this, we'll probably actually mold it, and we'll make production copies from a mold of this. This is producing a master that we would use.
I see. Okay, to make molds, or multiple molds if you would want to.
We'd make a mold and as many casts as we want. It makes life easy.
Right, and when this guy is done, you guys are actually working on creating this whole thing.
Yes, this is an animal called the Stegosaurus. This is Colorado State fossil, and we're working on 3D printing a great big, 20, 25 foot long Stegosaurus right now.
Very cool. How long is this going to take to complete?
We've got a couple more months of printing time.
Couple more months.
So.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier, the printer can run 24/7, so this really allows you guys to get in the lab, do more research, while instead of just sculpting them yourselves, you're able to do a lot more.
If we let the machine do a lot of the easy work like this, then that frees us up to do more interesting things with our time. So
much fun out here. I gotta ask you, your favorite dinosaur?
Daspletosaurus.
Daspletosaurus. Don't know who that one is. I know T-Rex though.
That's the one we were seeing earlier. That's the big Tyrannosaur we've got downstairs.
Love it. Oh, the grandpa to T-Rex.
Correct.
Good old Pete, if you guys remember him for our first segment this morning. I encourage you to come out here to Rocky Mountain Dinosaur Resource Center. So much to see, so much to learn. A lot of fun here in Woodland Park. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Lauren. I'm with you. The T-Rex, that's pretty much my extent.
And the raptors?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know the raptors. Yeah.
Jurassic Park. It enlightened us.